after a while. And then, oh my gosh, we're live on the Pirate Broadcast. And as you know, the Pirate Broadcast is here to bring interesting people to talking about interesting things. And I have someone that I'm excited to talk about, and I hope that you have equal amounts of excitement in your day and things are going on. If you haven't heard of the Pirate Broadcast and you're joining us for the first time, follow hashtag Pirate Broadcast in LinkedIn. You know, I'm on social media. Follow Russ Johns anywhere we go. And also, you know, drop a note in the comments where you're from and how your day is. I'd love to hear from you and ask any questions of Anton and what we're doing here. So Anton, I know from Arizona, and he moved to Colorado. He's an amazing individual that's doing some incredible things to help others. Anton, good morning. How are you?
What's up, brother? It's so good to have the privilege to be a pirate for 30 minutes.
Well, you're officially a pirate, man. So, and just to frame it, pirate, it's kind of this thing. The FCC originally, if you don't have a broadcaster's license, you're a pirate broadcaster.
Okay.
And so, it's also kind of a little tip to the pirates when you're working outside the box, so to speak. So the rules are ours. We have the rules. We can do what we want today, right now, Anton. And so I just want to dig in and dive in and talk about some of the things that you've been doing with your coaching business, because I think one of the most important things an entrepreneur or business owner can do is have a mindset that is productive. And I know the enemy, of production and being proactive and doing all the right things is like right here in our head. So talk a little bit about how you got to where you are and what you're focused on today, so we can kind of get people up to speed on who Anton is.
Yeah, I mean, at the core of who I am, there's two words. It's human sustainability, right? And to some people that may not mean a lot. To me, it's really the foundation of everything I am, everything I do. Perfect example, like Oaks are sustainable. My son's name is Oak. My other company's name is Oak Tree Consulting, because they represent sustainability. But ultimately, why human sustainability? First of all, I think people, what does Simon Sinek say, is people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, right? So why human sustainability? Back in 1995, January 4th, my father passed away at 45 years young, and he passed away from lymphoma. But lymphoma wasn't ultimately, that's ultimately what was the final thing that broke the camel's back, per se. But before that, it was stomach cancer that turned into lymphoma. But it wasn't that killed him. It was the behaviors that he exhibited throughout his life that caused his, health to expire. And it was stress. My dad was a big-time politician in the Soviet Union. I'm from Russia. I was born and raised in Russia. And he was actually recognized in a final address to the Union by Gorbachev for all the things that he's done, in the party. He was like a big deal, like a really big deal. And but he gave all of himself away. He constantly gave and gave and gave. He's the most amazing leader I've ever, had the pleasure of meeting in my life. I'm sure I'm a little biased because he's my dad. But from there, it started the mission of, what if people just took 10% of themselves for themselves? And instead of giving 100 away, what could have my dad done had that 10% allowed him to live 40 more years, right? All the things that he knew, all the things that he could do, and all the capabilities he had acquired by 45 years old, what more could he have done with another 40? And all he had to do is give up 10% of what he was giving to everybody else and keep it for himself. So that's kind of how it started with human sustainability. And then coaching came around. I fell in love with development in the military and the Marine Corps. I was an artillery section chief, so I had to train young Marines on how to fire, 777 cannons and stuff like that, big old rounds. And it was all about speed, efficiency. I had a lot of young Marines that came in. I had to train them, develop them, improve them, constantly work on them. And then, they move on, they do something else, and I take a new crew in. So I fell in love with development. It was more leadership side of things back then. And then I got out of military and I went into a gym. It was Bally Total Fitness. I don't know if anybody remembers them, but Bally Total Fitness back then. And I was working out as a big boy. I was like 217, solid muscle. I'm probably like 185 right now. So imagine me, a much bigger person. And Russ knows me and Russ met me.
Yeah.
But I'm working out at this gym all the time, every day. And this GM comes up to me. He's like, "You look like you know what you're doing. You want a job?" I'm like, it's that easy? Like, really? Don't I need like a degree or like anything of that nature? It's like, dude, it's personal training. Like, it's Bally Total Fitness. Come on, let's get real. So he sends me to this fitness manager. She talks to me, and I'm like, look, I don't know anything. I know how to work out. Yeah, I do that, but how to train? She's like, it's okay. Go take this weekend certification. And by the way, people, if you are looking for personal trainers, do your research. It's very easy to attain these certs. I take the weekend certification, and it's literally, they gave me all the answers to the test just so I passed the test. And after this weekend, I was done. I was a personal trainer. Oh my God, exciting, right? But
certified personal trainer.
Exactly. That was terrible, dude. That was so bad. I thought that all I had to do is just push people really hard and they would be, successful. Military me, Marine Corps me, right? Like, as long as you work hard enough, you can overcome anything. But no, it doesn't work like that. So then
just put more work into it.
For sure, man, for sure. And I got out of that, went into Lifetime, big old gym, much better quality development. And I fell in love with really health, just the bigger picture of health,
So that was the entry to loving training and coaching in general, the practice of coaching in general, right?
It was more training then, right? It was just development. It wasn't coaching yet because coaching is very misunderstood, right? Coaching, many people call themselves coaches that are actually trainers. And I'm like, and I'm not saying, this is what I want to be clear to all the viewers out there. There is a place for a trainer. I know some amazing trainers who I could never even touch their ability to educate and develop education or train, in a way. That's their skill set. There's consultants that can come in and figure out all the different things for you and give you the answer by doing analysis on you or your business. And then there's coaches who are kind of that middle of the road. They can do some training, they can do some consulting, but our job is more about pulling out the information out of you with questions. It's not, here's the answer. It's, what do you know? How do you see things? Here's some questions that need you to frame up your mind correctly. And now let's play with that information. So I fell in love with development, but it wasn't coaching. Coaching didn't come around until about 6 years ago, when I became a manager or, more mid-level manager. And I started taking over broken teams, and I had to basically take over and in a 12-month cycle, rebuild this team, fix management leadership. And that's where the love for coaching came in.
Kind of like going back to your roots of teaching people how to shoot big guns.
Yeah, it kind of got back to that. Systemic, right? It was a lot of business development, right? So there's a model, and you teach that model, and people. There's still a little bit of training, but the difference this time was,
I think there's a framework involved, because I think I see it really as, 5 people could be doing the exact same thing, only they're going to do it uniquely to their individual experience, right? We're a product of our experience.
I haven't heard this statement in a long time. A teacher said it yesterday, my economics teacher, and he's like, there is more than one way to skin a cat. I'm like, oh my God, that's awful. I used to say that all the time. People don't say that anymore. I'm sure you probably grew up saying it.
Oh yeah.
That's the truth, right? There's more one way to accomplish it. But coaches, what's cool about coaches is that, especially experienced coaches, and I know that, you coach as well in your area of expertise. And we know so many different ways. We look at it from a macro standpoint. We understand, here's the big thing that needs to be accomplished. How you accomplish that thing can be specific to who you are, your environment, and your skill set. But there's so many ways of doing it. We just want to make sure that framework, like you said, is established and it's being followed.
Well, and I want to unpack a little bit, because I want to go back to one thing, like with your dad, and I want to really make sure that this sinks in, because paying yourself first is a business practice that a lot of successful business owners have implemented in their own life. And it goes across all levels of your life. It's across your health, your mental stability, your mental attitude, and ability to sustain what you're doing over time. And it also has to do with, for a lot of people, it's the spirituality, it's, family, it's everything else. And you have to be able to, especially when trying times, when you're going through struggles and your challenges of life in general, and it's not business owners, it's life, period, is that you have to take the time to invest in yourself. And the way I look at it is, every day is a gift, let's make it matter, because if you're not looking for the joy in the day, and you're not looking for the ability to make a difference, then it sometimes gets a little discouraging. And I think that's one thing that I want to take away from this, your journey to where you are today. And then we'll talk about, your future. But I think it's really important to pay yourself first, and that's investing in your health as well, right?
In every aspect of us, right? And that's it. Every person should sit down and think about who I am, right? Who am I as a person? What are my components? I, as an example, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a coach, I'm a business owner, I'm a CEO, but I'm also a person that loves to learn. I'm also a person that loves to have fun. I'm also a person that has health, right? So all of those components are part of me. I need to make sure that I'm not neglecting any of them, because if I want to be the best human being I can be, I need to give time and nurture. Nurturing shows up in different ways to each component, right? But ultimately, it's investing into ourselves and giving time to each one of those components. And it doesn't mean equally. You don't divide it and say, okay, here's this time, this time, this time. They all did different amounts, right? With kids,
I always say we can't run out of abundance.
Yeah, for sure. And like with kids, as an example, people are like, oh, I don't have time. Like, you'd be surprised how little time you need to give to your kids to make it important. It just needs to be undivided attention that's all about them, not on your phone, not on other things. But the point that I'm making is there's so many parts of us besides being an employee or a business owner or something like that. And we often tend to put ourselves into that one lane and think of ourselves as our job or, our title or whatever. And then we forget and neglect everything else. And then we're walking around miserable, figuring out, why am I miserable?
Why am I miserable?
90% of you is being avoided. Like, you're not looking at that and doing anything to help yourself. And
you're not investigating what a lot of people don't take the time to actually understand how they feel.
Oh God. A lot of things, or why
they don't understand how they feel. And how I feel right now is gratitude, because there's so many people in the room right now. Anton, Doug Thompson. Yeah.
Inspiration, man. Keep doing your thing, man. I love seeing your health journey, dude. Keep going. That's all.
Keep going, Doug. He was in the gym this morning. Wendy, Gula, Sherry Lolly. Thank you so much. You make me smile every day. Hey, Kenyatta's in the room.
Oh,
say hi to Kenyatta. Yeah. Kenyatta.
Of course.
Jeff Young. And I just, if you're in here for the first time, follow the Pirate Broadcast hashtag in LinkedIn. I'm on all other social medias as well. You can go follow me. And also connect with Anton. He's an amazing individual that you need to know. And I just want to acknowledge the fact that you're here taking your time. Anton, I appreciate your ability to drop in and share some nuggets of knowledge with us and the community. And the thing about, our journey, each journey is unique, and we're all individuals and everything like that. And I think it's really important for us to also understand that we're not alone in this journey. Doug's working with some people, I'm working with people, you're working with people. We all have, even if it's not a conscious, contractual agreement to work with somebody, we all have people around that we can tap into and understand and say, hey, I need a little bit of encouragement here, or I need a little bit of, I need to give a little encouragement, and how do you lift others up? How do you help others? And what is it that makes it unique to you, and what brings you joy in your day?
It's what I focus on is obviously human sustainability and health, because I think that health is the greatest limiting factor in our lives right now across the board and just universally speaking. But how I lift people up is a little different. It's actually why I became a coach. For the longest time, people told me, Anton, you see something in us that we don't see in ourselves. And that was my teams when I was a manager. And that's how I lift people up. I see them for their raw potential. I see them for, this amazing thing that they have on the inside. I don't see this shell that we've built up on the outside. For some reason, I don't know how, I don't know if it's the way my dad raised me, but I look at the person's core and I see that deep down inside, we're all good. I even think that criminals and the worst people in the world has done some horrific things. In the core, we're good. It's the shell that gets built out in us that becomes force and then pushes the world out, and we become bad people, or some people become bad people.
Well, it's interesting because you watch a baby or you watch children interact before the age of 5, and
there's no evil. We're not.
It's pure. It's pure, and it's just amazing to watch that level of interaction, and it's just amazing to me.
When somebody sees you for that, when somebody sees, and this is from feedback that I've got from my teams. This is not something I know about myself. This is just people telling me, like, when you see me for that, when you see me not for the wrongs that I've done, when you see me for what I can be, not what I am, it makes me want to be that more, right? And without even needing to do a lot of hype, because I'm not a hype person. Like those people that work with me and know me, I'm not like your rah and like, you know, big person like that. I can be at times, but I'm more real, I'm more like, you have this amazing potential. Don't waste it. Like, don't throw it out because you have doubt, because you have, you know, limiting beliefs, you have, you know, scarcity mindset, whatever it may be. Don't waste that potential, because at the core, you have all the tools you need to be amazing. Now, can we get rid of all the noise and all the things you've created over your life to block that out, to make it happen? That's a different question. But at the core, I believe you can do it. And that's how I lift people up.
Yeah. And Jeff Young says that's the perfect definition of a coach. So
appreciate that. That means a lot.
Yeah. Lori, good morning. Russ and Anton.
Hey, Lori.
Lori Knudsen. Angie, thank you so much for being here. You know, the thing about coaching is that it's, you know, especially say in the physical health world, there's a lot of people that can help motivate us. And it seems like, and I don't know if you believe this, but we kind of resonate with certain individuals and certain personalities. And even though that we may need something different, you know, to bring the best of ourselves out into the world, you know, a lot of people are hesitant. You know, they could be, you know, whether it be confidence. You know, I help people with their video strategy, or I might help them with their online presence or things like that. And for myself, you know, because I've done it for so long, it becomes, you know, practicing part makes it easier. You know, we gain skills through practice, and repetition, you know, builds muscle and all of this stuff. And I think that a lot of what we do, if we go back to the core, I think it really, for myself anyway, when I think about what I love to do and what brings me joy in the moment, you know, because happiness is a different thing. But if you bring joy in the moment and I lose track of time while I'm doing it, then I know that I'm doing something that I should be doing more of. You know, it's like the genius zone, they call it. You know, it's like, you know, working in your genius zone and then delegating everything else that doesn't allow that to take place. What are your thoughts about that? Because I've been thinking about that a lot. You know, it's like, do what you're good at and delegate the rest. It's like, so you can do more of what you're good at.
So people think I'm kind of getting older and becoming a little bit more of an asshole. Excuse my French for the viewers.
Yeah.
But it's because of that factor. It's because I've realized, and I want to sound really bad right now, but I'm going to.
Sound really bad right now, Anton. We need a lesson.
I hope people feel like I do too. I feel like I'm meant for something big. Like I'm meant to make a difference in the world with human sustainability. I've had that feeling for 15 years, even before I became a coach. I knew something was going to happen there. But if that's the case, and that's the mark I want to make on the world, I have to get rid of distractions. I have to get rid of everything that's not suitable for me. But the same thing I teach to my clients. There's a belief that I have that there's something that Russ can be the best in the world at. There's something that Anton can be the best in the world at. But it's only what you can be in the best in the world, what I can be in the best world. Nobody else can be in the best in the world at that. The problem is that by clogging our book of, you know, our book of business or schedule or whatever with a bunch of stuff that doesn't suit it, is not meant for us, that takes us further away from that best thing in the world. So we're
distracted by the things that we should be doing.
But the things
other things in life
feel we should be doing, not should be doing, but we think we should be doing, right? And it's a
well, we can go down that path because, you know, we're taught from a very young age that, you know, you have to get in line, get good grades, you know, go get a job, you know, do A, B, and C. You know, society's rules in what we should be doing, that lays a heavy blanket on some activities that we could be doing, right?
And our parents, I mean, everybody, our partners, everybody puts this certain degree of bias. It's sometimes unintentional. Sometimes expectations, right? They put that on there, and then we follow it. But the thing is, it's not meant for us because we start out everybody starts out as we're like even. I'm like, we're not even. We're so diverse. And so why are we starting out on this flat surface that we just at this level, right? And then you're gonna go through school, the same schooling, same everything. And it's crazy going through school now as a coach than I was back then, because I could do it so much better for them. Like, oh my God, I just want to raise my hand and say, no, don't do it like this. Do it like this instead. It'll resonate better. But it takes us away from us, and it takes us away.
We all have our own journey, though, Anton.
Yeah, and some people find it,
and some people are. It takes courage to go decide and identify. And here's the thing: this is just like the content creation process. To me, is like you have to put something out there in order to have enough feedback to decide whether you like it or not. It's like, how many times have you pursued something, and then when you arrived, you're thinking, why the hell did I want this? It's like, this isn't what I imagined it should be. Only you imagined because you had this perceived, notion that this was going to be where happiness was going to land, right?
Play this
or
out.
Joy or anything like that.
What happens then? Why do you keep going? Because the problem is not that happens. The problem that I see is that people keep going. They stay in that lane. Why do you think they do?
Right. Yeah. Well, because they don't. I think a lot of people have no understanding that there's a bigger choice. There's a bigger. It's like going to the buffet table, right? They see food that they might not like, but then after they taste it, they might like it. Until you actually have that experience in life, you can't understand the variety you have to choose from. And for like myself, I like a lot of different things, from music to creating to, all kinds of activities. And I'm always distracted because it's like squirrel. And, and so it's my challenge is almost the opposite. I have a hard time focusing on what I loved doing because I have all these other things that I think I might want to love doing.
It's like you opened up Pandora's box, right? You saw this freedom and you're like, oh my God, I want a little bit of this. I want a little bit of that. And I see that happen a lot of times with people. They've been living in this lane, and they felt like they were living in this tunnel, and they open it up and all of a sudden all these possibilities. But I'm going to go a little deeper. I'm going to say all the things we've talked about so far, all the coaches listening probably are going to be nodding. It boils down to the wrong story. It boils down to that person is running the wrong narrative through their head in the moment they're making that decision, or they're not making a decision, right?
Not making a decision is a decision.
It's a decision in itself, right? So the wrong narrative sits there and we tell ourselves the wrong story. And this is where coaching, advising, mentoring, like buddy on the bench, having a beer with you comes in, whatever that avenue that your checks and balances are. You come in and you go, here's what I'm thinking. And that person goes, yeah, that's good, but try this thought. Maybe that'll serve you better. And that starts to shift our beliefs, and with shifting beliefs, shift our actions, shift our outcomes. Right.
Yeah.
So that's how it has to be.
Yeah. So say that again. Shift your beliefs.
Results pyramid. So what I'm speaking to is results pyramid. Results pyramid. Most people don't fix the results because they only go one level below. To fix a result, most people go and fix an action, or they try to do a different action.
They're tactical rather than strategic.
What's that?
They're tactical rather than strategic.
No. They are. Yeah, they're tactical versus strategic. It's a good way of putting it. But what lies underneath the action is a belief system, right? Something that is that drives your action. So if you're going to change an action, you can't skip a belief. You have to first revert a belief. But to change a belief, you have to recreate or change an experience.
Well, that goes back to what we were originally saying. A lot of people don't go deep enough to understand how they feel. So they don't change their actions to become habits to change their outcome.
Spot on.
So here we go, full circle. You're either being coached or you're coaching, right?
Nonstop.
Mm-hmm. So accept it for what it is. Go deeper. Find your belief. Find your core. Find your truth, and know your beliefs and what they can achieve for you. So.
You'd be amazed what you can accomplish. Like when you start breaking it down and making systems out of our behaviors, things become so much easier because there's so much noise in the world. Like it is just so hard to live in our day because
there's so many distractions.
Everybody's got a tip for you, especially on LinkedIn. Everybody's like, hey, I got 10 tips to make you the happiest person in the world. This person's got 15. This person's got 20. And I'm like, oh my God, these people are so confused.
When all else fails, love is the answer.
Yeah, that'll do it. Simple. That's what I love about you, man. Like that's simplicity. Focus on love. throw everything out the window. If you focus on
kindness is cool.
That will work. It will work. It's amazing how simple things will work.
I have to. Here's a trigger. Here's a trigger. It's like, how is it possible someone learned that it was okay to throw trash in the parking lot?
How is it possible somebody learned that it was okay to throw trash in the parking lot? They don't have a bigger picture. Their actions are not connected to greater outcomes, right? So their parents, their society, whoever, I'm going to come from a standpoint, didn't teach them that every action has a reaction. Every action has a much bigger ripple effect that we don't see. And that's what people have to understand. If you're going to give a crap about the environment, if you're going to give a crap about anything in that matter.
So when all else fails, love is the answer.
Love is the answer.
You can't love the planet. You're going to screw it up. So I just want to make sure that everybody connects with Anton and just love this guy and make sure that you understand he's a much deeper individual. And Being Oak Tree, there's a story behind that. And we started off, if you just caught us and you're just watching the replay or something like that, watch the entire episode. And Anton, I want to go back to a couple of things, because your journey, when I heard your story for the first time, I kind of understood it. Like, I resonated with you because, it's like, may not have the easiest childhood growing up, maybe played in a few drugs here and there, and, had some side tracks on behavior and things like that. And you came back and you decided to get things together. And now you're out helping other people. My goal is to help as many people as I can that are possible. And it's like, I feel the same, that you're in the same, you're in the same lane as that. You're helping so many people. And I know that it's really possible to make an impact and a difference in the world. And so in the next 18 months, 24 months, what's your vision? What's your goal? What's your intention that you're throwing out to the world so you can share it here today?
Yeah, biggest focus right now is going to be Human SOS. It's a conference that Prospective Force is putting together, but we're going to change the way that organizations treat people, but we're going to go about it a little bit different, because right now everybody's saying, yes, the human being needs to be taken better care of. But the reason it's not being done at the level that it can be is because companies are not seeing the financial gain behind doing that. So we want to show how by taking care of your people, you actually are gaining the greatest competitive advantage you can against any competition that you have. But we're also doing it from a two-pronged approach. Right now, what I'm seeing a lot is a lot of employees are going, I need to be cared for more. But when I come back to, I did a post on this a while ago. I said, any relationship, look at any relationship, doesn't matter what it is. Does it work one-sided? Does it ever work one-sided? No, it doesn't. No. So it's not enough for employees to go, I need to be taken care of. Yes, that is a fact. There's no question about it. But at the same time as they're raising their hand and saying this, they're saying, I'm willing to take care of you, the company, and be a good employee and learn how to be a better employee, so that way we can work together on how to make this environment the best possible. So we have two conferences, one in May, one will be in the fall. Human SOS 2020 in the May is going to be all organizational. So it's about how to find the right talent, how to develop them, how to grow them, how to onboard them, and manage them. Then in the fall will be the individual side of that, where we're going to bring in people and teach them how to be employees better, how to take care of your boss, how to look out for your boss, how to, be loyal to the company, how to not go on social media, put stupid stuff up that makes the company look bad, whatever it may be, but really coming from both ends of the spectrum to say we are on a common goal of making the human being exist better in organizations, but we're coming from both standpoints.
And I think if you really boiled it down to one possible outcome, is it's mutual respect for what is going on around you, and and removing some of the ego and the outcome that not everybody needs to be taken care of. Sometimes when you take responsibility for yourself and you do it with a respect for others, the outcome is all positive. It's amazing what you can do with a little respect and making sure that you understand what's going on around you.
Mm-hmm. It's balance, man. That's what you do. If anybody listens to me a lot, I'm always I used to be an extreme person, and I've been on both ends of the extreme where I was you're militant, like get in your face, you look at me wrong, I'm gonna punch you in your face. And I'm not exaggerating. Like I've gotten in fights walking by on people on the street before. Being back then, but then I over-indexed and I went into yoga and it became a doormat for people where I was a complete pushover and I thought that all I had to do was be kind and all this. And then I realized it's not an either or, it's in the middle, knowing how to apply each side to a degree needed for the situation. And people and organizations need to be the same way. Personal accountability and corporate responsibility have to be together, not one versus the other. Until they unite, we're never going to have the optimized environment we're looking for. And
I think that's universal in all relationships. So, Anton, this has been a gift to the world and a treat for me. I know that there's a lot of people, Kyle, Diana, Dancing Diana from Melbourne. It's late there, Diana. Thank you for jumping in. Kyle Burt, morning. How are you doing? Sherry Lolly.
All my favorite peeps hang out on your podcast. I mean, I've been here more often. I'm like, I love everybody that's chimed in.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you know, the real thing is that we at times, just like we were talking about, at times we fail to understand what we're capable of doing, you know, and I just want to make sure that everybody out there understands that you have a gift, you have the value, and there's some, you know, secret sauce to unlocking it. And talk to people, have conversations, because a lot of times people notice things in you that you're failing to see in yourself. And if you allow and hear and receive that information and say, yeah, well, maybe that is true. Maybe that is right. Maybe I can do more. Maybe I can make an impact. Maybe I am making an impact. I think it's really important for us to understand that, you know, people out there love you, they care for you, and you're important. So don't forget that.
Can I actually give one story on that? Because I have like a real life story that was so impactful in my life that really hits that. But if we're out of time, I don't want to.
No. Okay. We're pirates. We can do what we want.
Boot camp in 2005. This is probably March timeframe. No, this is February. I'm knocking on the drill instructor's door. Bam, bam, bam. Recruit Chumak requests permission to speak to drill instructor First Sergeant Staff Sergeant Clifton. It's all ramble on, say it really loud. I come in his office. I was the guide at that time, the person that was responsible for the platoon. I was the main person, even though we're in the same like rank or whatever. I come in, I'm bawling. I can't do this job. I can't do this because it's too hard. There's people in this building, in this platoon, that are better than me, that are more suited, that will do a better job leading this platoon. He pulls me aside and goes, Chumak, I see something in you don't see in yourself. Get the F out of my office. It's not your decision. Now, harsh, you know, like whatever. But
straight to the point.
The message was the same that what you just said. There's something in you that you don't know, that I see, that you just need to trust and move forward, and just move forward. And that's what I did. Guess what happened? I ended up being guide for 12 weeks out of 13, which is unheard of. And I graduated #1 recruiter out of 363. That's what happens when these people believe in us and they see something in us, and we walk through that door and we just keep walking.
Yeah. Just keep walking. I think that's the message that we're going to leave this
with. Man, if you like Nemo, just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming, man. Just keep swimming. Anton, this is not the last time we're going to talk, so I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. And also, if you're in the feed, I love you. All the gratitude in the world. If you're watching a replay, same thing. Rinse and repeat. Make sure that you follow the Pirate Broadcast. Comment and share this stuff, because what we're doing here is highlighting interesting people doing interesting things, and follow the feed. I mean, it's not about me. It's about the people that I'm able to have a conversation with. That Pirate Broadcast. It's right below my name in the middle of the broadcast here.
Oh, no, duh. Okay. Yeah. I'm so just paying attention to you. I don't pay attention to details. That's me.
So anyway, smiles are free. Kindness is cool. And you enjoy the day.
Thanks for having me, man.
You're awesome.